Well, right now we have Superintendent of Schools Rob Ridgeway of the Harper Creek Schools in our studio. Good morning, Rob. Nice to see you.
Morning, Tim. Thanks for having me on the air.
We've talked with superintendents from most of the area schools, and now we've got you in here as well. And one of the things we like to talk about a lot is, school safety and then, of course, finances and all that stuff. I know you have a big election coming up. We're going to sort that out for people. It's not very complicated, but it kind of is. But the bottom line is nothing new, no new taxes.
Right, no new taxes. It is a renewal. It is a current tax that's already on the rolls, and it is only for non-homestead properties, industrial, commercial, rental homes, and vacation properties. It doesn't affect primary residences.
Great. Well, we'll have you explain all of that. And how long have you been the superintendent over at Harper Creek now?
I've been at Harper Creek for about 3.5 years. I came over from Homer, which is in Calhoun County. I was there for about 24 years, of which 7 as a superintendent. So this is my 10th year as a superintendent.
Holy cow, you're a Calhoun County guy.
I've been in Calhoun County my whole life. Grew up in Athens, went to Albion College, so I've stayed right inside the county.
Really, that's for sure. And, of course, you were in the classroom before you got into administration.
Yeah, I was a math teacher for 13 years in the high school at Homer and formed a lot of great relationships with students. And now that they're adults, I enjoy seeing their successes.
Yeah. Did you ever get tired of kids saying, why do we need to know this in math class?
As a math teacher, that definitely came up, but making school relevant to kids is part of the job. And if you can do that as a teacher, you can be very successful at motivating students.
You know, math crops up everywhere. And I think kids start to realize that with the computer age, how really important and lucrative it is now with all the algorithms and things that we use.
Yeah, math careers and using math within your career is very important. And showing kids, how is it that I'm going to take what I'm learning in the classroom and us making it relevant to future careers. One of the initiatives that we have at Harper Creek right now is making sure that every student has a plan as they graduate high school. The goal isn't just to graduate, it's just what do I want to do with my life? And most people change their minds, but we definitely want to have kids that have a plan that I'm not just going to go to college, but I'm going to go to college for this. I'm going to go to get a technical certification for this. I want to have a plan.
Absolutely. I mean, we all learn that as an adult, and that's the way I approach the radio show. I always have a plan. It might go to hell in a handbasket fast, but at least I have one going in, and that's a lot better than I think. Every once in a while I meet somebody who can just fly by the seat of their pants through life and somehow make it. But those people are the exception, I think. The rest of us need to kind of be thinking about what we're going to do.
Right. I think as schools, we need to expose kids to many different variety of career options so that they can decide what they love. And if you do what you love, then life's much easier.
You know, talking about math and applying it to real life, I had a math problem last week. You know, we had that nasty weather, and so Consumers Power Company sends us an email. We'd like you to run down power line messages so that people don't accidentally get electrocuted. It's really important, you know. And they want me to run 3 commercials every 2 hours from such and such a time to such and such a time, but space them out. So I actually had to get out my calculator and figure out how that was going to work.
Get that high school algebra back out.
Pretty much did, yeah. Every once in a while it crops up. But, let's keep talking numbers. Let's talk a little bit about the millage that's coming up. It's May 8th, I think, right? So that's not far off.
Tuesday, May 8th, a little over 2 weeks away. We have an election in the Harper Creek School District for a non-homestead millage renewal. This is a renewal. It's not a new tax. It's a tax that's already on the rolls. Non-homestead is a little bit confusing, but non-homestead properties are industrial, commercial, rental, and vacation homes. And they are taxed at 18 mills. And this is part of the Proposal A from 1994. It's statutorily required by voters to approve this millage. The last time we approved the millage, it was for a 6-year term. We're asking voters to approve a 10-year term this time so that we can ensure that the operational revenue is consistent for our school district. This millage means about $3 million a year, and that money is very important to the school district. This does not affect primary residences. If you were to own your own home and that you live in with your family, this tax does not affect you. But you are and can vote on the tax. So, again, this is a renewal. It's something that is on the tax rolls, and we want to ensure that people understand that information so that they can have an informed vote on May 8th.
You know, a lot of people say, you know, we need to hold the line on taxes. We need to do, you know, more with what we have. But we can't go backwards, for heaven's sakes. That'd be a disaster.
Right. I agree. I believe we need to continue to move forward. This was the way it was set up originally from Proposal A, that there was some local tax as well as the state tax. People may not realize or understand that everyone pays in their houses 6 mills for schools, and that goes to the state of Michigan and comes back in foundation allowance per pupil. And the 18 mills for non-homestead property tax is the local part of that tax, and it's something that the state expects that we collect. If we don't collect it, again, we would lose approximately $3 million a year. Now, we are approved to collect this tax in 2018, so for the 2018-19 school year, we won't be affected. But if it were to happen to not pass, we would be affected in 1920.
Mm-hmm. So, not an increase. It's something we've already had on the books for 6 years. Doesn't affect homesteads, but it does affect summer homes, businesses,
rental properties.
Rental properties.
We do have quite a few rental properties in the area.
Mm-hmm. How many students are we up to in the Harper Creek District? Do you even know off the top of your head there?
Yeah, we have approximately 2,800 students at Harper Creek. We are up a few students over the last 3 years. We've increased approximately 50 students a year. We're lucky in Harper Creek because there are new housing projects that are occurring. I wouldn't say that it's a boon of building, but there definitely is still building on a lot of those old farm properties that are out on the south end of the district. And so that is a very positive sign.
Do students come from other districts and go to Harper Creek, like with taking advantage of school choice? Has that been a factor?
We have school choice students, and as a matter of fact, our school board had decided to limit school choice because we were starting to fill up all of our buildings that we currently have. We did a little study on what is the optimal size for our school district and what is our capacity. And we feel that somewhere in the 2,900 is our maximum capacity. So at 2,800 students, we are reaching our capacity. So.
Well, it certainly strikes me as a school district on the grow, and it has for many years now. It just seems like it just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, I think the community support is key to the growth at Harper Creek. Folks in the community feel the school is positive. They feel that great things are happening, and people are choosing to come to Harper Creek. Of course, we want to make sure that our own district residents choose to come and not school of choice to other districts. That's our primary concern, and we want to offer a great education for our students.
Yeah, and I've seen some things that I was very impressed with at Harper Creek High School. Well, obviously, you got a brand new facility there and an incredible auditorium.
Right. The new high school, which was built in 2004, so we still call it new, but it is a few years old.
Seems brand new, but yeah, 14 years ago. Wow.
And we also, in 2008, were able to upgrade our outside facilities and our elementary buildings. So there has been that community support to say we feel education is important at Harper Creek, and we are going to continue to support that, through elections as well as just through general support of the community.
I was very impressed that you have a very good audio, visual, and kind of media-related studies at the high school, and even have a really nice studio there where kids can play music and record different programs and things like that.
Right. We have a weekly TV show called HCTV that is put out on YouTube, and anybody who is interested can go to our school YouTube channel and check that out. That is student produced, and they do a great job with it. I actually did my own little video clip for the Millage over the last few weeks, and we have those posted on our website as well as on social media. And you're right. I think the broadcast studio and having students learn that part of a potential career choice is definitely advantageous.
Very forward thinking, very important. I mean, even in radio now, we have to do video. and we have to be able to interact on the internet and social media and bring all of that in, because media has now, instead of becoming a lot of different things, it's like all one thing. And, you know, even though the focus may be on print or the focus may be on radio or TV, it's everything else is really important. So I'm glad to see, you know, that a lot of area schools are starting to focus on that, but Harper Creek has been focused on it for a while.
Yeah, and graphic design, you know, doing the video and audio is important, and also doing the audio for our productions that we have in the auditorium. You know, those are all areas in which students can learn and grow and figure out if that's something that they really want to do with their life.
Rob Ridgeway is the superintendent of Harper Creek Schools. We were left off at school safety and had an officer there for a long time, but I wanted to ask you, you know, if any new precautions that you've taken, any new discussions or programs or trainings?
Yeah, we at Harper Creek are being proactive. We've had a school safety committee in place for about 3 years to keep school safety at the forefront of our minds. In terms of recently, we've talked a lot about what should we do moving forward. We have one school resource officer, and he does a great job of forming relationships with kids and making it so that they will come forward with tips when we do have threats or we do have situations that may come up that are need to be investigated. But having more trained professionals within the school, having more school resource officers is something we've talked about. We have implemented night lock door devices for lockdowns, and we had a partnership with the Emmett Township Department of Public Safety where we raised $24,000 to put these devices in every classroom, and basically they're an easy way to lock down classrooms so that the bad person can't get in. We did research of other active shooter situations, and typically that person takes the path of least resistance. So we want to make it as hard of a target as possible if someone were to choose to do the unthinkable.
If what about entrance to the school? If I were to walk over there right now, could I just walk in, or do I have to do a security checkpoint? How does that work?
No, all of our doors are locked, and currently if you walked up to a front entrance of any of our school buildings, we have a buzzer and a camera system. So you would buzz, and a phone with a camera would be activated in the office. The secretary could see a visual of you, ask you, you know, why do you want to come in? What's the entrance or why is it that you're here? And then they would determine if you're able to come into the school. And so, yes, all doors are locked. We're trying to be very proactive. We want to ensure that outside doors are locked. We started a program called the Watchdog program last year, and Watchdogs is bringing males as volunteers into the school. And, of course, they volunteer in the classroom. They read to kids, but they also are there to do perimeter checks. They're there to be with kids at recess and just be a presence. We have always had lots of females within the schools volunteering, and we want to continue to keep that presence so that if someone were to be thinking about doing harm, that they know that Harper Creek is a hard target, not a soft target.
Do students have some sort of ID to enter, or do they just have to enter at certain times?
Right now, we do not have student IDs, although we are moving forward with potentially implementing that next year. That's been part of our discussions of how do we do that, and the biggest issue in the past that we've had at Harper Creek with IDs is if a student loses their ID, what is it that they do? Can they gain entrance? And we want to have a system in place where it's not a punishment system to have an ID. This is supposed to be for school security and safety, and we want to have kids feel welcome at the school. And so we're working out the details. But yes, we did implement having IDs at our middle school for our staff, and we're going to continue that implementation as we move forward, specifically for middle school and high school.
And we were talking with Tim Everett, your counterpart over at Penfield, about this, and one thing that I think you have to do is put something in place for when they lose their ID, which will be for some of them weekly, because those things cost money.
They do, and many of the IDs now have chips inside of them so that they can do lots of things. They can be their library card, they can be their lunch card for scanning. We've even talked about having it so that the student could scan at the entrance door to gain entrance. We've had all kinds of discussions of what we could use ID cards for, along with the fact that we want to make sure that the students, the staff that are in the building are supposed to be there.
Back to budgets for a second, as we talk with Rob. Ridgeway from Harper Creek Schools. It's always a crunch to, do more with less. And you were telling me during the commercial that you don't want to crunch the, the pure education side of it unless you absolutely have to. So what do you end up doing?
Well, so within our budget, approximately 80% is staff. And of that 80%, somewhere around 55% of our budget is teachers in the classroom. And we don't want to reduce or crunch or make our classroom sizes any bigger. So we have to take a hard look at those things that we spend that are outside of the classroom, our services that we provide, transportation. And I need to put a shout out to our transportation department. They do a great job on a daily basis, not only with transporting our kids, but also being very cost effective. And if we have a new item that we need to buy or a service that we need to have done at the school, we require anything over $5,000 to be bid. We ask the people to get three bids for those. The state of Michigan also has a bid threshold for any projects that you might do that are over $22,000. So the bidding process is very critical in us being cost effective. We're always looking at our budget to see how can we do things better with that money that's spent outside of the classroom.
Rob Ridgeway, then we appreciate you being with us today. Tell us one more time, the May 8th millage election. It's pretty simple, not complicated, not an increase.
Right. This is not an increase. This is for non-homestead properties, non-homestead industrial, commercial, rental, as well as vacation properties. It does not affect primary residences. It is on the tax rolls currently. It's a renewal. It's for 18 mills, and it is for kids. It's for the operation of the school district. It's something that's been on the tax rolls for many, many years. We're asking for a 10-year renewal of this non-homestead millage, and we're hoping that people come out to vote. It's on May 8th, on next 2 weeks from now on Tuesday, and we want as many people out there in the polls as possible.
Yep, everybody gets to vote, even though this only affects certain people. Doesn't affect homeowners with their primary home. Well, great. Thanks again, and best of luck with that. Nice to meet you,
yeah,
Rob.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate having me on the show this morning, and I wish you the best of luck.
Yep, we'll have you back again soon, I'm sure.